Invest 98W, it's been dubbed a low-pressure area by the Japan Meteorological Agency, and they do expect it to become a tropical depression in 48 hours, continues to show signs of tropical development per all of our guidance that we have, including the Google DeepMind, the ECMWF, what I'm showing you right here, making landfall by next Tuesday and heading into Wednesday. Now, there is still some uncertainty, of course, with this, but at least for now, this is continuing to gain plenty of convection around that low-level center. You can see that here just towards the south of Guam, and there continues to be signs that this is going to be moving into an area very favorable for development. I'm only going to say this once, but this goes back to why I was a little frustrated. So many people were saying fake news on this. Long-range guidance, of course, is always going to be long-range guidance, and there is uncertainty in that, but the straight up say when somebody was kind of analyzing models and sharing that in the long range that it's completely false. I only point this out because I don't want anybody to still fall into this lull of there's not a storm there. It is an invest area. It's a low pressure area, and a lot of the guidance continuing to show something. And this is a broader view of the ECMWF. See that convection? We have a subtropical ridge just towards its north here. So that's southeast of Okinawa. That's why it's really kind of dry in this area. And then you have the Amihan, which officially started last week for northern areas of Luzon. And that's also going to kind of keep this further towards the south and on this more of a straight runner type of a setup. And this is just another look with the ECMWF passing just north of Yap in Palau as we go ahead through the weekend into Monday with that Amihan interaction. By Monday and the Tuesday are to bringing gusty conditions up and down the eastern seaboard. And then we see here by Tuesday, it starts to come on shore. So not fake, a very real storm. JMA has a tropical depression in about 48 hours. And multi-guidance continues to show a storm here. Now, if you are locally here, of course, in path of this, a potential system, I want to make sure you continue to check in with those official sources. That does also include Pagasa, JMA, just make sure you're checking with those official sources. All right, so here's our area, right? Let's analyze this a little bit more. And this is the GFS ensemble. And this basically is multi-guidance, also showing an area here within the ensemble, high confidence that something is at least going to be there. It may not be a typhoon, could just be a tropical storm, but that is still something that could bring some impacts, but this is what's really interesting. So this is the Google DeepMind, and every single one of these spots in purple, and I'm going to say this, don't get mad at me, don't panic either. The Google DeepMind, every single one of these spots in purple actually indicates Cat 4 to Cat 5 winds. Now, the ones in yellow indicate Cat 1, and then you have this couple blue in there. That's the tropical depression. So there's a spread. But the fact that this is throwing a 4 or 5 right in there with the Google DeepMind, that's the AI model, which has been incredibly good at predicting recently, is showing all that just it's noteworthy, and this is only 4 to 5 days out, so it's getting near term at this point, to the point where there is potentially a storm right there. This is the Japan Meteorological Agency, a tropical depression being shown in about 48 hours as well. And let's just flip over, and a lot of people like seeing the windy guidance, so because you're just kind of familiar with it. So let's just go over here. This is the 3rd into the 4th. So this is what I was just showing you with our fantastic graphics, Metro Weather Weatherscape, by the way. That's what I started off the show here. If you're looking for good forecasting software, check them out. But this is the ECMWF. And then here's the GFS also showing something just towards the east. GFS, by the way, keeping it much weaker, more of an interaction. But yesterday, GFS was the stronger and the ECMWF was the weaker, which is kind of interesting. And then you can see right here, this is the Icon, the German model, kind of showing that interaction with a low pressure area just off the east coast of Visayas. So there's a mixed bag on the intensity here, but every single model does continue to insist that a storm is going to develop. And by the way, if you were just curious, JTWC also showing Invest 98W. They have a low chance of development at this time, but I'm sure they're probably just standing by to see, where this is going to develop so they can kind of get a little bit more information before they put out any warnings. And nor is this, somebody said it's too early to make a forecast. I'm not really making a forecast with these videos, by the way. I think it's more of a overview and to educate and give you a sense of what's going down so you can prepare. Now, this is obviously a bit of a forecast because I am confident that at least places like Tacloban, Siargao, Leyte, Samar, Northeastern Mindanao will see an increase in rainfall by Monday and the Tuesday. Even if we just have a weak tropical low, those areas are going to see that increase in precip. So make sure you continue to chat back in for more information. Know your information through those official sources, your local agencies, of course, PAGASA, the official one out there in the Philippines. If you're in Yap and Palau, the National Weather Service out of Guam actually puts out your local warnings there. Of course, you're already aware of that. Prepare to evacuate if needed. I know I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but you know, if that deep mine kind of follows through, this could spin up pretty quickly. So just make sure you have an emergency kit ready to go, something like that, just so you're just ready. And if you don't use it today, at least in the future, you'll be just fine. That's the whole point here. Make sure everybody's staying safe. By the way, this is the wind outlook from the GFS model, just kind of also showing that circulation passing Yap and Palau by Sunday and the Monday. And you see it here right near the coast, right near Tacloban, actually, just by Monday evening into Tuesday morning. And then we'll just take a look at the precip outlook. Just this is only going to go out 5 days, so I'm not going to be able to show you complete details. But one thing that I do want to note, though, is that as this moves ahead, like I said, regardless of a weak low or anything like that, this really is going to enhance that Amihan, a bit of a shear line actually set up right there, which is really going to continue to increase rainfall for northeastern Luzon well ahead of this. But it's that broad interaction that you're going to be wanting to watch out for those specific areas. So, you know, we have a low here, broad trough off to, high pressure ridge trying to get in from the northeast monsoon setup, and rain. So for a good Visayas standby monitor, could be by Monday and Tuesday, you're looking at a storm system there. So I say standby monitor, but we're already getting kind of close to potential development here. I don't want to get ahead of myself, and this is really is not most terribly organized at this point, but all the guidance shows something developing. But before that even happens, we still have that northeast monsoonal flow, so still looking at some scattered showers across central and northern areas of Luzon. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have another update later on today. Just following up on this, I want to try to put out 2 a day just to make sure I'm keeping you guys posted, and we're staying weather aware at this if anything changes. Once again, my goodness, not fake news. I said I wasn't going to address that again, but I'm still getting that in a lot of comments, and especially on Facebook, I'm really getting a lot of it. And I think what bothers me about it's not any trolls or anything, and I don't think a lot of people are. I think they are legitimately. They saw the post from Pagasa a couple days ago that said long range models are showing a storm, and it's fake. And yes, I get what they're saying. I'm not going to hate on Pagasa for that, because they were probably doing the same thing I was dealing with, which was getting a lot of comments and messages, people asking about what the long-range GFS was showing. So address it. I addressed it. I showed that multi-models were showing something. Models backed off, but now they're jumping back on board of this development. And I'm still getting people saying it's fake because they did see that, and there's this narrative push that the long-range guidance. And I think it would have been better to say long-range models are low confidence, but it's tricky because there was some people saying something was absolutely going to hit at the time when it was still low confidence. It's hard to explain. Most of you watching this video absolutely understand it, especially when you're past the 5-minute mark. You've kind of watching, you're staying informed. You're probably one of the more educated people on this topic, so I'm likely preaching the choir. But if you're new to watching these updates, well, I'm happy you're here, and my whole point is to try to inform, educate, and let's make sure everybody stays safe. Of course, Philippines don't really need too much education on the impacts of these storms. You all have been through enough of them over the years, but let's make sure we're always prepared for the next one. As always, thanks for watching. If you want to support the channel, though, check out our Patreon and also Frontrunner Financial. Links down below. They support this channel as well. Stay safe out there, friends.